My very first trial was as a third-year law student. The Professor Johnson said, you know what, there's one person in my classroom that I want to be able to try a case. As a law school student, it is you. Went in there against the prosecutor and won as a student. So I say that to say that the faith that these individuals has had in me is by far more than I would have ever expected from anybody. And you know, as I've gone through life, we all take life individually. We have struggles that we have to endure. We have hurdles that we have to overcome. And you get through them. This has been an humbling experience for me because this is the first time where I've seen, I believe in what I can do, but to see other people that are willing to say, I believe in you too, based off of your actions, based off of your history, based off of what I know of you, is more than humbling. And I don't take that lightly. And if and when I'm elected, these faces that I see in here today are the same faces.
No if.
You're right. When I get elected,
Thank you.
these faces that I see in here today are going to be the faces that remind me of why I'm there. They're going to be the litmus test for how well I do, because if anybody is disappointed, then I've been a failure at what I've come to do. And my goal is to make sure that I don't fail anybody in this room, anybody in this community, and anybody in this city. There are platform points that I believe in. I believe in making sure that minorities are fairly sentenced. If you've done wrong, you've done wrong, but that doesn't make you an animal, and you shouldn't be treated like an animal. Far too long, we've had people that look like you and I be taken out of the community and put into a system. We have to do more to take ourselves out of that system and put ourselves back into the community. And I think that the things that I'll do from the bench will help ensure that we can do that. I don't want, as Alvin said, we call them defendants, but at the end of the day, they're still citizens. I don't want citizens to believe that there is no hope for them, even though they've made a mistake in life. I believe in restorative justice. I believe in having victims and citizens come together and say, you know what, you may have done wrong for the appropriate type of offense. You may have done wrong, but that doesn't mean that you need to walk through the rest of your life with a felony conviction, because we all know what the status of felon means in this community with this type of skin color or another type of minority. And that goes for our Hispanics community, that goes for our LGBT community, that goes for our Asian community. Minorities have to learn to work together. Minorities have to learn that this isn't one individual minority's fight. We're fighting against systemic differentiation. We're not different, though. We all pay the same taxes. We all have to look at the same president. We have to remember that the enemy is not necessarily that other person. The enemy is the system. So my goal is to make sure that if I only get 4 years as a judge, I want to do everything I can to break that system down to its bare bones and show it for what it is, and make sure that the people that come through my court know that there is justice. Justice should be blind, but the people that serve it should not be. You should be able to know who your judges are. You should be able to know who your elected officials are. And I want to make sure that anybody that comes through the 185th knows exactly what I stand for. That means fair sentencing. That means making sure that we're looking at probable cause at the beginning and not waiting until a trial. You've sat here and paid all this money. You've stressed out for the last 6 months to 12 months to a year and a half, wondering what's going to happen to me when this case should have been dismissed a long time ago. That means making sure that people aren't put into a debtor's prison by a bail system that is meant to penalize them before they've been convicted of anything. That means making sure that the victims of domestic violence and the victims of sex assault crimes make sure that they get more than watching their accuser or their offender get a slap on the wrist. We need to make sure that the women who have fought for the Me Too and the Time's Up movement have been heard. I want to make sure that the people that are in the system know that this isn't just about the defendant, this isn't just about those type of citizens. I'm about fairness. So victims need to make sure that the punishment will fit the crime. And don't be afraid to stand up if you've been hurt or harmed. When you come into my courtroom, it'll be about justice. It'll be about fairness, and it'll be about equality. And I thank you guys so much for your belief in me, and I will make sure not to let you down. Thank you.
Thank you.